All right, so we're going to do the defensive front slash pass rush. So a lot of linebackers still have that outside linebacker label, but we're going to put them in here, which shortens the linebacker groups next week. But better to get the big one out of the way, I suppose.
Yeah,
So first for me is I think the Pittsburgh Steelers.
yeah.
And that's just T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward still amazing. Alex Highsmith kind of came out of nowhere. Larry Ogunjobi was a good free agent pickup. Tyson Alualu was a good veteran, and I think they drafted DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M.
Chris Wormley.
And then, of course, I don't want to forget the Michigan man, Chris Wormley. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tuitt's retirement hurts a little bit, but I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Not worried about it. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Commanders here.
Okay.
Chase Young and Montez Sweat, if they can stay healthy, that would be a good idea. Jonathan Allen might really be their best player consistency wise. I think that pass rush is, yeah. I mean, I think it could be elite. I think this is kind of the year for them when it's like, all right, if everybody stays healthy and comes together, I'm higher on them than maybe most are. I think they could
Yeah,
they could push the Cowboys, in my opinion, in that division.
Yeah, no, they're my number three defensive front. So I like them a lot. Deron Payne's obviously been there a while, but then they draft Fidarian Mathis. So
Larry and Mathis, yep.
he's pretty good. Shaka Tony out of Penn State's there now.
He's a pure pass rusher too. He's good.
Yeah, and then James Smith Williams has been there for a while and understands the defensive scheme that they run. So
yep,
yeah, I like that pick. All right, I think I'll stick with my original. That's gonna be the Bucks. Shaq Barrett's really good. Vita Vea is only behind, I think, Aaron Donald. I think he's the second best interior defensive lineman.
Yep.
Akeem Hicks obviously has a reputation to be a top 10 interior D lineman too, and they picked him up. Joe Tryon Schwenka out of Washington, I think, is going into his second or third year. So expecting a leap from him being a late first round pick. William Golston there to rotate in. Logan Hall was drafted this year.
Yep.
Houston, Anthony Nelson out of Iowa. Raheem Nunez Noches. They're all been around. So a lot of rapport with these guys, and just adding Akeem Hicks to this group really helps.
Yep. Go back and forth here. Oh man, let's think. I'm gonna go with the Packers. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark. They have Dean Lowry, Jerron Reed, Devontae Wyatt, Jonathan Garvin. Overall, Gary's just getting better.
Yeah.
Well,
it's good they were able to still save Preston Smith. They couldn't keep Za'Darius too, but they kept Preston.
Yep. So I think they're going to be still pretty formidable. I think Gary's just going to continue to get better too, and he gives them flexibility because he can move inside a little bit. And he's going to continue.
I think he's going to play a lot of out this year. I think that was a big reason why they grabbed Jaron Reed because Kenny Clark's already there. I think, and I don't know how consistently they're going to run more than 4 in that front, but
no, they're typically a 3-down lineman.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Rashawn Gary's going to get a lot of action on the edge. Yeah. And I'm pretty high on a sleeper on Kingsley Enagbare. So
yep.
All right. So 5, I will go with the Chargers, and maybe that's because I'm just still obsessed with Khalil Mack. But you paired Joey Bosa with Khalil Mack, and Khalil Mack returns to form, even for 1 year. I think that's I think one of the best edge duos we've seen in a long time. They pick up Sebastian Joseph Day, who did a really nice job for the Rams last year in the Super Bowl. Jerry Tillery has been there for a long time. Then they pick up Kyle Vanoy as another edge rushing linebacker.
He's just old.
Yeah, he's kind of old, but he's good. Every line needs a good veteran leadership. So get Khalil Mack and Vanoy as those two guys. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, Mack and Bosa. I mean, this could be the number 1 off defensive pass rush.
If they're both healthy, yeah, they're not notoriously healthy players.
No, that's the problem. It's like, I don't know. But if they are both healthy,
potential-wise,
could be unblockable. All right, I will go with the Rams now. Almost entirely off of Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd's still good. Ashawn Robinson still eats a lot of space. Greg Gaines, Justin Hollins. I mean, Aaron Donald really creates most of that for them. Most of that frees up any of the other guys to play one-on-one. They have to double or sometimes triple Aaron Donald. So I think he pretty much vaults them into the top 10 by himself. I think he's the best defensive player in the NFL until proven otherwise. So, or until he retires, which might happen.
Which they talked about it even in the Super Bowl.
They did.
It was crazy. So,
they did.
Could be sooner than we think. I'm gonna go 7. I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Brandon Graham from Michigan, Fletcher Cox. Obviously, this is an aging group for sure. Javon Hargraves is definitely up there. But I think they kind of still have some young blood there with Jordan Davis. They drafted for the interior now to replace Cox. We'll see if he actually lives up to. I mean, his Madden strength rating is absurd.
Yep.
But it does fit as long as his stamina is also like
stamina 12.
Yeah, 12 stamina. That's all right.
Play one play.
Yeah, every 4 downs. Yeah. So Derek Barnett's also a guy like that of Tennessee, and still, he helps out the team. Josh Sweat, very underrated edge, and they picked up Hassan Reddick as well. So not a bad group there in Philly.
That is a good group. Okay, I'll go with the 49ers. Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, Samson Ebukam, Eric Armstead's moving back inside, which will certainly help them. Drake Jackson, Hassan Ridgeway, D Ford, he's still offsides. Kerry Hyder, Jordan Willis. So overall, pretty deep group. Nick Bosa is obviously the kind of the standout there. And I like Kamoko Toure. So I like some of those guys on that. I think that'll be overall one of the better edge units.
Yeah. 9. I think I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings. Again, another potential room, just obviously injury issues with Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter lately. But if you go back to even the 2019 season, PFF shows that Smith was first with 93 pressures, Danielle Hunter at 88 in 2019. So you pair those guys together, the potential's there. And then I really like Delvin Tomlinson in the middle. Harrison Phillips has been around for a while to eat up space as well. DJ Wanham played really well when he had to step in for Everson Griffin's mental health issues last year and Danielle Hunter injuries. So I think a lot of these guys, Jonathan Bullard, all got extra time, and maybe that helps just with depth in general if those guys do have to go down again. So,
yeah. I'm gonna go with the Colts here. DeForest Buckner, Yannick Ngakoue, Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, Ben Banogu, Eric Johnson, Taekwon Lewis, and Dayo Odeyingbo. Incredible names on that front.
Bunch of Nigerian Americans.
For sure. Awesome names. I like Ngakoue. And then DeForest Buckner has been really good. And then I think Kwity Paye will kind of break out this year. Sometimes it takes some of those edge rushers a year to kind of figure themselves out and get fully healthy. So I'm expecting kind of a breakout. So I'm expecting some big things from them.
Okay. I think this is a group that's going to take a big jump. And that's going to be the Carolina Panthers. Brian Burns already proven himself to be probably top 8 edge in the league. Derek Brown has the major potential out of Auburn. Matt Ioannidis, they grabbed out from the Commanders. Itur Gross-Matos was an early second-round pick a couple years ago. And Davion Nixon was a nice interior lineman. And I think Amari Barno is a rookie this year, and he's going to have a chance to contribute as well. So I think the potential is there. And I like Bravion Roy. So
yeah, they're just really young.
Yeah, so the potential is there to break out. We already know that Brian Burns is really good. Matt Ioannidis has already shown he's been a solid player for the Commanders previous season. So there's at least a couple guys that are like for sure deals. Yeah. Like, okay, I don't have to base it all on potential, but there's a lot to go there. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Titans here. I love Jeffrey Simmons in the middle. And then Danico Autry, Bud Dupree, Harold Landry, Those are three other good pieces to go with him. Overall, pretty good group there. Bud Dupree's getting I mean, I don't know how many years has he been in the league now.
I think he's going into 10 probably.
Yeah, he's got to be
Trying to,
close.
he was in the class with Shane Ray, who's been out forever.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
getting
Vic
a little
Beasley.
older there, but I do like the Nico Autry still. And then I really like Jeffrey Simmons in the middle. I think he's one of the better interior defensive linemen, young interior defensive linemen around.
All right. Kind of going through some of these names real quick. I'll hold off on them yet. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Saints here.
Yeah.
Jordan. Yeah, Cameron Jordan, one of the best edge rushers in the game. Marcus Davenport was a early to mid first round pick in the Frank Ragnow class. I remember I wanted the Lions to get him. David Onyemata was a nice interior player last year. Peyton Turner is going into his second or third year out of Houston. Shai Tuttle's been there. Tano Passano has been solid. And then Carl Granderson, Contavious Street, those other players. So,
yep. I'll go with the Bengals here. Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader in the middle. I really like Sam Hubbard, BJ Hill, Joseph Osai, Cam Sample, Josh Tupou, Noah Spence, and Tyler Shelvin. Hendrickson, Reader, and Hubbard are the top three there. Reader's just a ridiculous run defender. Doesn't provide a ton of pass rush, but he's a beast up in the middle. And then Hendrickson, was a great, probably one of the better acquisitions of the offseason last year by the Bengals, and really really kind of proved that he belonged there as an edge. So
I can dig it. This is tough. Give me the Chiefs. Chris Jones, one of the best interior linemen in the game. Frank Clark, if he keeps his head out of his ass, he'll be fine. George Karlaftis, I'm a fan of his. Derek Nottie, Mike Dana, Michigan and Central Michigan. Joshua Kando played a little bit last year, and Tershawn Wharton played well. So, PFF has him at 25, but I just no. There's those players have all made. Mike Dana especially was even huge in his rookie year already. I expect Karlaftis to be pretty solid. Now he's been good. Frank Clark, obviously, if he behaves, is fine. Chris Jones is always one of the best. So
yeah, I think they're a little underrated. There's a few guys that are getting a little older, but
yeah,
I like them. I like them better than PFF did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Bills. There's a lot of potential here. Von Miller is obviously like the big name there, but he's getting older. So we'll see how much they can get out of him, but he was the big acquisition. Ed Oliver, they're still waiting on him to kind of really break out, but he still could be really good. Gregory Rousseau, liked him on the edge. Daquan Jones, AJ Epinesa out of Iowa is getting better. I think they're waiting on him to kind of break out, and this could be the year. Boogie Basham, Jordan Phillips, Shaq Lawson, and Tim Settle. So there's some good names.
Yeah, they're still waiting for Shaq Lawson to break out.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that it's like, all right, if they really kind of put together what people thought of them either in the draft or after the rookie years or so, this could be a really, really good defensive line. But I mean, Von Miller had a great postseason. So if you can kind of build on that, I know he's 33, but he might have another year or two left.
Yeah. 17, I'm going to go with the Browns. Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, Taven Bryan, Chase Winovich, Jordan Elliott. Perion Winfrey was a rookie this year. Tommy Togiai is a rookie last year. Sheldon Day and Stephen Weatherly have been good rotational veterans. So I'll take him at 17.
Okay. Man, I'll go with the Jets here because I really like him inside. Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, and they did get Jermaine Johnson, who I really liked. And then they did get also Jacob Martin. to play the edge as well. If Quentin Williams could get back to where he was 2 years ago, that would really help. He was pretty bad last year. I
Yeah.
don't know if he was hurt or just they kind of figured him out. They've also got John Franklin Myers, Sheldon Rankins, Solomon Thomas, Bryce Huff. So yeah, I think a lot of their success will hinge on Jermaine Johnson second, but I liked him, so I think he'll be pretty good.
Mhm. Tough. All right. I don't like these groups. I'm starting not to be as happy with some of these groups. All right.
Yeah, and there's some guys still, but yeah, I don't like the full groups.
I think I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens. Calais
Yep.
Campbell, Odafe Owe had a nice year last year. Justin Houston is a veteran presence that they want the edge. He's definitely a lot slower, so he'll rotate in and out. But Michael Pierce still eats up a lot of space in the middle.
Yep, they
Justin
got
Matabike, Travis Jones is a nice rookie out of UConn this year. Tyus Bowser, Dalen Hayes, Broderick Washington, Stephen Means, Brent Urban. They've got a lot of names and depth, so there could be a lot of rotation out there.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't love some of these guys now. That good. I guess I'm going back and forth on a few teams here, but I'll go with the Broncos. Bradley Chubb, Draymond Jones, um, Mike Purcell, Nick Bonito, Randy Gregory's there now. Jonathan Cooper. Randy Gregory's barely. It just hasn't feels like he's never really played that much, but he's still a good pass rusher. So some of those guys I really like. I do like Bradley Chubb and Draymond Jones still, but we'll see how they pair with some of the guys they got.
2021, I'm gonna go with the Vegas Raiders. Really like Max Crosby. He seems to get better every year. Chandler Jones is there on the other side. Definitely he's starting to age, but still a solid guy there. Hankins has been there for a while in the middle. They grabbed Bilal Nichols from the Bears. Vernon Butler's been there from the Bills. Kyler Fackrell from the Packers. Matthew Butler is a rookie this year. Clelin Ferrell was a little bit of a reach there at 4 a couple years back. And then Billings they got from the Bengals. So they've been very active in free agency the last 2 years. But they've got the foundational edge rushers that a lot of teams crave.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Love some of this. I'm gonna go with the Giants, I think. And that's a little bit of a push or a little maybe a reach there. Just because you're gonna be relying heavily on
this is just because Christopher Hinton, I understand.
Right. No, more of K'Von Thibodeau and then Azeez Ojulari needs to kind of perform and make a jump. But then they do also have Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, who I like both those guys on the interior. So that could be a pretty good starting front if Thibodeau's pretty good. But yeah, it's hard for me to say you got to rely on 2 young guys like that on the edge, but at this point, that's kind of where they're at.
Okay. I think this group is kind of average all in all, but I'm going to put them here because now is probably the time anyway. I think because they're strong secondary, they're going to have a lot of help. But it's the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. They blitz a lot too.
Yeah. I'm not big on a lot of these guys' names, but Jalen Phillips is relatively young. Emmanuel Ogbah is still young. Melvin Ingram's the veteran that they want. Had a lot of good years with the Chargers. Christian Wilkins is still young. Raekwon Davis is young. Van Ginkel's young. Scarlett, Gustin, pretty young. Butler's kind of average age. But yeah, a lot of unknowns there just because none of these guys have, besides Ingram, have performed at high levels, and Ingram just maybe isn't that guy anymore that performs at high level. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
Yeah,
basing it on the defensive. Yeah, like you said, the defensive scheme. They blitz
they're
heavy. They
definitely
have
going
great
to get
secondary
pressure.
players.
Yeah, they're going to get pressure, so I think their numbers are going to be better than maybe they are.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, whatever. That's fine. Um, you can't really fault them for that, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, this is tough. Some of these teams are just not very good anymore. I'll go with the Patriots here.
Yeah.
Matt Judon. I like Matt Judon. I think I don't think he's ever going to be like, I think he's like that next tier, maybe 2 tiers below like the top group. So, but he's still very good. Christian Barmore, Lawrence Guy, Dietrich Wise, Josh Uche from Michigan, Byron Cowart, Davon, how do you say that? Godcho, and then Henry Anderson and Ronnie Perkins. Not bad group overall. They're going to be good. So Barmore was really good last year. So we'll see how we build.
All right. Well, this is the point where I'm going to take the Lions at 25.
That's fair.
Aiden Hutchinson, one of the highest touted edge rushing rookies, in I think the last 5 years. And Aleem McNeil stepped up towards the end of the season, so I expect bigger things from him. Michael Brockers has been there forever. He's just going to be veteran presence. Romeo Aquara is going to start the season, I think, on the pup.
Yep.
Charles Harris still could contribute. He's a guy that kind of found himself a little bit with Detroit after starting slow and being considered a edge rush bust, being a first round pick. When Uzurike was a second round pick last year, he's got to take a step. Julian Aquara was a third round pick like 3 years ago, so he's got to take a step. Pascal, second round pick this year. And then I like the pickup of John Kaminsky.
Yep.
A lot of people are talking about it, but he was a contributor for the Falcons last year.
Yep. Yeah, PFF had him 26. It's pretty fair.
Okay, yeah,
They're pretty fair with it. I think there's a lot of young talent, and like I said, it sometimes takes some guys a year or two in the up front to figure it out, both offensive and defensive lines. So, I'm not giving up on Muzurike or Aleem McNeil, and if Hutchinson and Pascal take a year or so, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think
I think I would like to see Hutchinson get
like to see
7.
Hutchinson just because
At
he's
least
the
7
overall pick to be. Yeah, 8, 9, 10 sacks at least, but that's fair. So that makes sense. Let's see. Pick them. All these are all bad defensive lines now, for the most part. I guess I'll go. I'll go with the Cowboys. DeMarcus Lawrence, Osa Adigzua, Neville Gallimore, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Tristan Hill, Sam Williams, Terrell Basham. I think PFF might have thrown Micah Parsons in on it because he's kind of an edge, kind of a linebacker. But
they'll just make their linebacker group look better next. But
yeah, exactly. So if you include Micah Parsons, I'd probably scoot him up 5 or 6 spots. But not a great defensive line overall. They're pretty weak at defensive tackle. So they're pretty weak up the middle, but that's part of the reason why their linebacker group gets a lot of. I mean, they make up for a lot of their problems up front.
That was probably the toughest decision for me making my list of players. I was like, I really went back and forth on Parsons, but
yeah, I like him at linebacker though. He's just a playmaker all over the field. So I'd put him at linebacker.
Okay. Not fun. Dang. This is why PFF has all these rest of these guys in the bottom tiers here, but
yeah, they stink for the most part.
Looks like interestingly enough, they're
legitimately horrible. In fact, there's one legitimately horrendous. Actually, 2.
Well, it's interesting that these last 6 teams that we still have to pick, like they match ours. So it's almost unanimous as the bottom 6 are the worst.
Yep.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun here. Oh, wow. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna go the Jaguars here.
See, this could be a better group just because it's like, all right, I mean, what if Trayvon Walker's just a monster?
Yeah, exactly.
Or Josh Allen's okay. I mean,
I gotta think that they'll be fine. Josh Allen actually has already proven he's good.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brown hasn't been good in a while, but he's definitely like the veteran guy that eats space.
Yep.
Adam Gottsi's has been a veteran guy. I
Yep.
think Dwayne Smoot's been around. Adam Arden Key, Davon Hamilton, like you said, Trayvon Walker, Roy Robertson Harris. There's some
K'Lavon
names.
Chaisson.
Lorenzo Fatakasi
Yep.
out of Rutgers.
Yep.
So
K'Lavon Chaisson could figure it out.
I
mean,
could have put him. I put him in the linebacker group. He
did
was
you?
another guy I went back and forth on,
Yeah.
but yeah. So yeah, Jaguar. Yeah, you're right. This group could be better. So I think I'm glad that we're starting out this tier with them.
Yep. Phew. Guess. Oh man, there's some. Okay. I guess I'll go with the Seahawks. Poona Ford, Shelby Harris, Al Woods, Jenna Nwosu, Daryl Taylor, Alden Robinson. I like Boye Mafe, but like again, I liked him as like a mid-second round pick.
Yeah.
So like certainly I liked him he was out of Minnesota, so I liked him, but he's not a Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker level.
They get the Ohio State Tyree Smith in the 5th.
Yeah. He hasn't worked out. So
yeah.
That's pretty bad. That's going to be a really bad football team, I think.
Yeah, I'm not high on them at all. Eeks. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Arizona Cardinals here.
Okay.
JJ Watt, Marcus Golden, Zach Allen, Leaky Fotu, Kingsley Keek. Myjai Sanders, I like Devon Kennard with his experience with the Lions, probably helps so he can handle being a loser. Michael Dogby, Dennis Gardeck, they played a lot of edge. Cameron Thomas is a rookie that they like. So yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there were 3.
Yeah, what order do you put them in? None of them are good at all.
No.
At all.
At this point, I think I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick the Bears here. We'll go
Yeah.
Robert Quinn. He's the name. Angelo Blackson, Travis Gibson, Justin Jones, Kyrie's Tonga, Mario Edwards, Mike Pinnell, Al Quadin Muhammad. I mean, I still think Robert Quinn's really good. But other than that, I mean, if they had Max still, they would move up.
Yeah, maybe like 18 or 19, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like because you get Quinn and Mac, I mean that makes them really tough to block. But now it's
this is rough, dude. That's bad.
Yeah, what are we doing here? So
I think I'm gonna make my decision here based on who I think is gonna have the best season, and that doesn't help me at all. I think both these teams are picking top 5. Oh man, this doesn't help. That sucks. Okay.
Well, they're picking top 5 mostly because they're part of the reason they're picking top 5 is because they're at the bottom of this list.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to take the Falcons though. Grady Jarrett's been around for a long time in the interior. I like Arnold Ebiketie out of Penn State. Marlon Davidson, South Carolina. Taquan Graham did well at Oregon. Ade Ogundeji is solid, and then they got Lorenzo Carter, who has a lot of experience as well. So
yeah,
he was another guy that I could probably get if I put him in. I probably could have put Micah Parsons and K'Lavon Chaisson, but
yeah,
I did not. So
that's fine. All right, so I got to go with the Texans.
You can't go with like Alabama or something to Will Anderson.
Yeah, can I just? Yeah, I'll take. I take like whoever the best defenses in college this year. I'll take them instead. No, but Malik Collins, Jonathan Greenard, Ogbania Okoronkwo, Mario Addison. He's old. Roy Lopez, Sheem Green, Ross Blacklock, Jerry Hughes, old.
Yep. Michael Dwumfor,
Michael Dwumfor, not old, but
Thomas really Booker, rookie.
Yeah. And then Thomas Booker. That's a really bad group. PFF had him at 30, but it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, with these bottom 3, it's pretty terrible.
Jacob Martin was one of their better edge defenders last year, and he's really like a reserve guy, in my opinion. He should be a rotational guy.
It's interesting. The Falcons were dead last year by PFF. But then we saw the Lions probably take the biggest jump. They went from 31 to 26. And the Jaguars, I think, went 30 to 27. So
Yeah, I mean, you draft an edge guy with a top 3 pick. I mean, that you should go up.
that's why it was surprising, Falcons didn't as much. I mean, obviously they got Ebiketie. But I think
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know where they're going organizationally.
I think they wanted to make sure they got their wide receivers. So they got their Drake London at 8. They felt like it was too early to take an ed. There's no edge rushers at 8 anymore with
Yeah, but
Walker
there
and
were though, really. I mean, I know you feel like
well,
you're
Walker and
drafting
Thibodeau and Hutch were all gone, so I
I know
kind of
you
get
feel
it.
like you're drafting over slot if you get a Karlaftis there, or you're probably reaching because it's maybe not worth what that spot is.
Yeah.
But in
Well,
my
they
opinion, you
drafted
got to go draft.
Ebiketie is where they should have taken a wide receiver. It's a way better class for wide receivers in the
Correct.
second round.
That was
So
my point. I think we talked about this too. It was like, why, like,
yeah,
you don't need to go get Drake London. He's not going to be that much better than even like a Chris Olave or a Garrett Wilson or like some of those guys you could have gotten later when you
yep.
took Ebiketie. So why not reach for maybe an edge you like? Unless they just didn't like any of the edges, it's quite possible they didn't like any out of the top 3. But yeah, I didn't like their draft that much. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's not fun. So,
No.
but yeah, so next week we'll do the 1995 NFL MLB redraft, and then we will do the linebackers. So all of the K'Lavon Chaisons and Micah Parsons you didn't see today, you'll see them next week.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll really. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Lions aren't going to be that high on that one either.
It'll be probably. I think they're gonna be bottom 5, just off the top of my head. So
they might be bottom 3. So
all right, man. We'll take care. We'll see you next week.
See you.